So last week we centered people with penises. This week we are centering people with vulvas because we also perform. We fake, we also put on a show. And I also want to be clear that this is not just about anatomy. Energy is also playing a role here. So, more masculine facing energy often shows up like what we talked about last time. It's tied to performance, improving, and providing. And feminine led energy often carries the pressure to be open and receptive and desirable. But you can have a vulva and embody masculine energy. You can have a penis and embody feminine energy. They're not locked together. We move in and out of these different energies all the time. So they move and they mix and they match. And either way, performance is performance. I just wanted to make that clear because it's relevant. So now let's get into it. Okay, so people with vulvas or people carrying more feminine energy, performance looks a little bit different, but it's still there. Maybe the moans are a little bit louder than they need to be. Maybe the faces that say, I'm so into this, but our minds are elsewhere. It's saying yes, like yes, when it's really just, it's fine. Just the exaggeration. Pretending to want sex because you don't want to hurt their feelings. On the outside, that might look mysteriously like generosity, but I don't want them to feel rejected. I don't want to bruise their ego. I want to keep the peace. That is not generosity. That's performance. And at the end of the day, we don't want to be managing other people. That's not our jobs. We want to be present for our own experience, and we want to give the other person autonomy to have their own experience, right? And when I say management, that's also another word for manipulation. When you are trying to manage someone else's feelings, you are actually trying to manipulate them. But I digress. So why do people perform desire? Particularly, why do vulva owners or people that embody feminine energy, why do we perform desire? Mostly it's because we've been conditioned to. We have been trained to believe that it is our job to be desirable, to be pleasing, to make sure that, our partners feel good. And of course, underneath there's also the fear of rejection and fear of conflict and fear of what might happen if we say no or if we tell the truth about what doesn't actually feel good to us. So the performance is sometimes intricately tied to protection. And in the moment, it probably just feels easier. Like sometimes Occam's razor is right too often, right? Oh, it's just easier. It might be as simple as that. But again, there's a cost and it does continue to add up. And the obvious cost is that your partner never gets to know what's real for you. They never get to know what turns you on or what you actually like or what you're really into. But there is an unobvious cost that we probably should talk about more. When you perform, you actually cheat your partner out of a chance to get better. You cheat them out of improvement. You cheat them out of growth and evolution because sex is a skill. And just because you know where to put the parts does not mean that you know what to do with them. Like, okay, I'm not trying to be mean. This is not a criticism. It's reality. Because once humans stop having sex for procreation, and let's be honest, most of us are not, especially at this big old age, we are not having sex for the purpose of procreation. So pleasure came into the chat, and that changes everything. It changes the game. Procreation is binary. Did the sperm meet the egg or not? Like, that's it, right? Is it a possibility of pregnancy or not? Are we perpetuating the species or not? But pleasure is an art form. And like any art, it takes practice and curiosity and feedback. So doing something again and again and again does not automatically make you better. You can keep repeating the same motions, playing the same script, and if nobody says, hey, that's not really working for me, nothing changes. So when you fake it, when you put on a show, you're not just cheating yourself out of real pleasure, you're also cheating your partner out of pleasure and out of a chance to actually learn, expand, evolve, and grow. And of course, like everything, that stretches even outside of the sheets. Because when we perform, whether we're talking about in sex or in life, nobody gets to know us. Not really. They only know the role we're playing, the mask we put on, the version of ourselves that looks polished to be acceptable. And again, what do we want most? We want to feel seen. We want to feel known. We want to feel understood. We want to feel like we matter. So if we're busy performing desire, nobody gets to see us. And you know what's worse than that? Is they think they do. Remember I said it's like manipulation, because it is. It's not just that they can't see us. It's like that they believe that they can. They think that they know you. They probably will put money on it. Like they'd bet big money that they actually know you. But they don't, because you have been pretending. So when people are thinking that they're connecting with us and all they're really connecting with is that role that we've been acting out, that's just shitty. So performing desire is expensive. It's expensive, and it doesn't just flatten the sex, it flattens intimacy, period. But again, I do want to acknowledge that it's not always about manipulation. Sometimes it really is about survival, or maybe it's about habit you know, or doing the easy thing. Either way, it's expensive. It costs too much, too much. So that's all I've got for today. I don't know what we're going to talk about next week, but it's going to be good. And this is Sex IRL, because bodies have feelings, and I'll see you next week.